This is TWiT.
So I was kind of hoping the MacBook Air would come out today, just so we'd have something to talk about. But Apple threw me a curve. They released a new updated iPad Air with an M3 processor in it.
Yeah,
something was certainly in the air.
Two new
wasn't what I wanted in the air.
Yeah, is that maybe that's why what Tim was saying is that two things in the air or something.
Yeah, it's weird. Gurman was like, Gurman's thing was that, we're definitely getting the iPad. We're definitely getting the M4 MacBook Air. We'll probably even get some new iPads, but they pulled the old switcheroo. But there's still plenty of time, especially the kind of quote announcements unquote they're doing of late, particularly with this. It was just, there's Apple Newsroom has a post. Here's a new thing. Here's a couple of new things on the Apple Store. I even missed immediately that in addition to the new iPad Air, there was a new 11th generation iPad. So there's really nothing. It's not as though they're going to be stealing the press thunder and losing the news cycle by also releasing the new MacBook Air, particularly if all they did was put a new M4 processor in it.
Did they? I didn't realize this. I know I have a 13-inch iPad Pro. I didn't realize the Air also came in 13 inches. So there's two sizes, 11 and 13. Blue, purple, starlight, space gray, storage up to a terabyte.
Yeah, so they've increased storage.
Which I always order a terabyte now. I don't know why. I never fill it up, but it's just nice to have.
I'm going through that now where I'm so glad that I pumped for the maximum amount of storage on my M1 iPad Pro when I bought it, because the ability to simply say, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch these 8 movies, but I'll copy it on there anyway. That's paid off.
Fingerprint reader, which I like, I love that on my Mini. I almost wish I had that as an option. How hard could it put it both Face ID and Touch ID in one machine? I wish they would.
Also, Face ID on the iPad is still kind of cumbersome. I don't know what the right answer is.
It. Yeah,
I kind of prefer the Touch ID.
I much prefer it. Yeah. Plus, because I'm often using the iPad Mini in bed, and my face is all squunched up.
Exactly. I'm watching movies like with my iPad like on my belly, and I have to sort of like make that horrible like quadruple chin move to lift up.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad.
You know what? Maybe I don't want to sign in. I don't want to.
It's probably good for my core, but
I don't need to buy that out.
A little crunch. It's the iPad Air crunch, or the Face ID crunch, where you just sit up a little bit. The other thing is I'm often watching my Mini when I'm brushing my teeth, and it seems to not recognize me when I have something stuck in my mouth. Make your own joke. M3. Are we disappointed about the M3? That's kind of feels like that was a kind of an interim chip in between the great M2 and the even better M4.
Well, yeah, at least that's what we heard on the Mac side of things, right? That was part of maybe you should hold out and wait for that to come. I did want to quickly note, the M2 iPad Air was the first one to offer the 13-inch model.
Okay,
so that's
thank you
just
for
a repeat
telling me.
here, and but I was surprised to see. That you can kind of get some information about what the company thinks is successful based on obviously how it goes forward. Still seeing those two being offered in that iPad Air model versus the iPad Pro is fascinating to me. But yeah, I think going with the M3 instead of the M4, it almost feels like one thing they're trying to do is differentiate the Air from the Pro model while still providing the ability to have Apple Intelligence, right? That's the big thing. Let's get everything onto Apple Intelligence except for the new iPad, which is interestingly left out. The KidPad, as some people call it.
The KidPad doesn't have AI in it?
It says it's got the A16 processor. So it's like that gave me pause because I thought, and over the past couple of weeks, I've been saying, hey, isn't it interesting that when they went with the least expensive iPhone, they still made sure that it could do Apple Intelligence. Maybe this means that Apple does not want to introduce anything from this point on that alienates a group of people, saying, no, there are Apple users who have Apple Intelligence and Apple users who do not have Apple Intelligence. So it kind of surprises me that they are saying that, you guys are going to have to correct your own mistakes from now on. I mean, it says something when they do want to keep the price low. So that does say something about the cost of Apple Intelligence, both with putting extra RAM in and giving the CPU support. But okay, so I guess I have to change like my thinking that maybe Apple isn't everybody deserves Apple Intelligence no matter what their stature.
It does feel like they're marketing this to younger people, students. It says it's lovable, drawable, magical. $349 is a great price. Remember, the iPad started at $499 when it first came out. $349, fantastic.
Yeah.
Although that's $20 above the old price last time. Yes, or am I wrong?
That's it was $329, I think.
$329, yeah.
$300 for educational. I wonder what the educational price is now.
Yeah, available March 12th. And again, the super fast A16. That sounds like it's aimed at younger, more gullible,
super fast,
more gullible people, more colorful for sure. I mean, starts at 128 gigs of storage, so that means the base $349 model is more than adequate for. In fact, let's say that right now. When we, even though I'm deprecating the M3, it's frankly more than anybody needs ever on an iPad. It's you don't.
I mean, there are definitely a handful of places where you may want to use something more powerful, but it would be, this is 95% of someone who would buy an iPad, this would do the job. It would probably do 95% of what I use an iPad for. I mean, I definitely use some of the other stuff from the pros, but not the newer ones. I mean, I have older ones, and this one, I think that it's squarely aimed also at schools and education, and with the educational discounts and everything else, it has to live in that space as far as cost perspective.
Still is a Magic Keyboard Folio available. I don't think it uses the Pencil Pro. Is that right? It uses the regular pencil.
Correct. The USB-C version. And I wanted to note too, it starts out this iPad at double the storage of what it had before. And to me, that points it to even more being a kid pad, because one thing I've seen is a kid gets very tired of their huge game app that they want, and they want another one, and they want another one, and they want another one. So now parent doesn't have to delete old apps to download new ones and then have the kid go, actually, I want to play that one again that they already deleted. Now you just got lots of space to download all your fun little apps that you want to play, and it's not an issue anymore.
I am interested as like what teenagers, get these iPads, or, they're aiming at that younger crowd. My experience right now is mostly on those iPads that you see schools use them. You see parents with younger kids use them because you give them to them in the car or in the airport.
I can't go to a restaurant anymore with kids. They're all watching their iPads, or the disadvantaged ones watching mom's iPhone. But that is the babysitter of choice now.
It's something you can put in. I mean, I know that in when we flew, with our kids much more often than we do now. When they were really little, that was the thing you did, is you handed them an iPad and in the plane, and they just went off into Neverland and enjoyed the plane ride without having your 3-year-old.
I think that's okay for a plane, occasional. It worries me a little bit if it's like every day.
We were very analog. I know that I seem very techie, but I have a room full of tech, and then I walk out and almost no tech in the rest of my house. I mean, the kitchen. And
give the kids some bongos or something,
definitely at a restaurant.
But when we go out, we go out to talk to each other. I don't know, like that's. But I think it's hard. I mean, I think that a lot of parents have had a hard time following whatever they were supposed to do with their kids, and the kids are hard to manage. Our kids are pretty great when it comes to going to dinner. Like, they're not.
And you have wonderful, smart kids, and it's probably
my wife's fault.
That. That's your wife's fault. It's definitely so, hey, and I should say that even though Apple's really clearly marketing this towards education and younger people, that anybody who wants an iPad and doesn't have hundreds of dollars to spend, this is a great choice.
What I didn't get to is that I think that the big market that we see in the airport, the big market I see in my family, the big part is the over 50, over 60 crowd that just wants something to check email and throw in. They don't
we oldsters love the iPad.
It only takes one really bad virus with the PC that they bought at Best Buy for them to just go, well, how do I not have this happen again? And you go, well, just get an iPad. You'll be able to do all the things you were doing before, except you don't have to worry about all those other things that that happen to you.
Yeah. That's true. In fact, my daughter is using a Chromebook, and she's ready. It's her birthday's coming up. She's ready for to replace it, because The question mark key doesn't work anymore. There's 2 keys that don't work anymore, so she has to copy it and paste it into her text when she writes. And this has been going on for more than a year. And I said, please let me get you something.
Right.
And now I'm thinking maybe an iPad with a Magic Keyboard would be a good choice.
Yes.
If she's used to the Chromebook, right, it's going to be a step up from that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful bargain. I remember the other day I saw someone make a half joking but half serious decision tree on like what kind of operating system to choose, and like the first decision tree was: do you want to be bothered? Do you not want to be bothered? If you don't want to be bothered, okay. Do you have a trust fund? Do you not have a trust fund?
Right.
And on that decision tree is: if you have a trust fund, go get an iPad. Go for iPad OS. If you do not have a trust fund, get a Chromebook.
So now that the new iPads are out, it sounds like. Do you think that was there's something in the air? No, there's going to be a MacBook Air, an M4 MacBook Air, right?
Yeah, I think it's Air. It's just it's a week of Air, right? A week of hot air.
Air all week. So the MacBook Air now maybe tomorrow, right?
That's
what Amber Neely is saying on Apple Insider. Yeah. Mark Gurman also says that. Expect the MacBook Air tomorrow as part of the new product wave.
Do you wonder
which implies there might be more air in the air?
I think so. Do you wonder if Apple told some people that the MacBook Air was coming first and told others that the iPad was coming first, so they could try to figure out who's telling who what?
A maneuver worthy of a Romulan. Very well thought.
Is there a name for that?
Is that
like a canary trap?
Canary trap, yeah.
Canary trap.
I know that there was a story that Steve Jobs told 3 executives what the code name was, and said if this code name gets out, all 3 of you are fired. He's like, I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm just going to fire all 3 of you. And the code name got out, and he fired all 3 of them, and that solved. That was a very quick at Apple that I heard that's what tightened things up in the 90s, late 90s, was Steve showing that there's nobody above leaks. That's
better than sending out a fork in the road email, I think. Just, really